Maybe you're here and you're trying to figure out what worship really is. I mean, worship is like this elusive term that's thrown around if you run in churchy circles, but it seems like no one really knows how to define it. Worship is like our attempt to magnify the greatness of God. There are two types of magnification. There's a microscope, and a microscope takes an object that is really, really small, and it magnifies that small object so that it looks really, really big. Then there's also a telescope. And a telescope can take something like the moon that is far away, and because it's so far away, it looks really, really small. But that telescope magnifies that object in such a way that you can begin to appreciate how grand and how incredible that object really is. Think about it this way. I've got a 4-year-old son. If I took a bucket of change that was about $10 in value, and I dumped that change of nickels and dimes and pennies and quarters out onto a table, and I laid a $1,000 bill right beside it, and I told my son that he had to choose either the change or the bill, he would choose the change every time. Because in his mind, all of that change is worth far more than a $1,000 bill. In our worship, we exchange the rich things of God for the cheap things of this world. That's why the Apostle Paul tells us that we need to not conform to the patterns of this world, but we need to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, because this is our reasonable act of worship. So we need to become convinced through the renewing of our minds that the greatest things this world has to offer, they pale in comparison to the things of God.